Hold on. Here we go. Let me stop the music. Let me stop the music. All right. What's up? What it do? Time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew with yours truly, James Kirkland. And I have a couple of guests that are going to be joining me tonight. I'm excited about that. I'm trying to help them get through some technical difficulties. One of them get through some technical difficulties. But in a minute, I'm just going to bring the other lady on. I was about to. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to get in trouble. But hold on. Let me get this thing started. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm supposed to be ready. But that's why we do these things 10 minutes early so we can be prepared. I sent you the link through Dr. Evans. If you're watching, I sent you the link through your email. So hopefully that will work for you so we can get this conversation started tonight. If you're coming in, do me a favor, go ahead and like, share, tag some people, get them to be a part of this conversation. This is we have it's a very let me put this up right quick. This is a very safe space. So you can come in here and you can talk and we can share ideas. Hopefully we can come up with some solutions. If we don't come up with some solutions, we can at least leave more enlightened than the way we came in, because I don't profess to have all of the answers. I'm just James. That's all I am. My name starts with J and ends with S, but it's not Jesus. I'm just James. And so I do like to share my experiences, and I try to help people when I can. So I'm going to bring in Robin Butler now, and then we'll wait on our other guest to get here in just a moment. Robin, and if you're in the chat, don't be rude. Say hello. Come on, Robin, unmute yourself. Come on, let's talk. You're unmuted already. What's going on, young lady? How you doing? I mean, should I call you young lady?
Well, James, how are you? Thanks for having me.
You might be older than me. Should I call you young lady? I heard that was an insult. Do you think that's an insult?
No, that's not an insult, and I am a little bit older than you.
Okay, not very much, like a whole 6 months, something like that.
Probably so. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think quite a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's quite a year either. But either way, I appreciate you.
Welcome to the 50s, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm 51. I'm my second year in. So hey, I'm but life is slowing down. You know, I like how life is lifing right now. I told people when you get beyond the age of 40, you kind of pick up that metaphorical remote control, right? And you can kind of control the goings on in your life at that particular point, because you just start to look at life different. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole, you know what, you really, really graduate when you can learn to look at life subjectively, as opposed to only objectively, right? And that's, I think, a lot of what our issues are, especially, man, I know you're probably detached to some degree because you're married. How long you been married, Robin?
Oh, about 26 years.
26 years. 26 years. And Tim is still smiling. Every picture I see him in, he's still smiling. So that's a good thing. And so I like to bring people on who I think their story can help someone. You know, this is ministry for me. You know, like I said, I'm not. I'm a supplement to a pastor. I mean, because I'm trying to help your people live everyday life. You know what I'm saying? So and how to, you know, I think Romans 11 or whatever says something about living peaceably among all men. So we gotta get along. You know what I'm saying? But so many of us stumble over simplicity, man. And so I like to bring up different subjects, you know, and different thoughts, and just put them on the table. And talk about them, you know, and see how it goes. And it's funny because now it seems like God is starting to give me certain people's hearts. Here we go. We finally got. My friend had so much trouble with technical difficulty. Let me get him on in here before we get it. Now, you too young for all these technical issues. What's going on, man?
Man, everything is lovely now that I'm on. So okay, sorry about that.
No, you're good, bro, because you're actually at the right where we're getting started. Robin, this is Pastor Evins. Pastor Evins, pastors. Tell her who you are. Southside Baptist Church in Columbus, Mississippi.
Yes.
So he, but not only that, he's also a therapist, but he's a manager of therapists. He has 100 and something therapists under him in the state of Mississippi. He has a very high position with therapists. So when we get his analysis or his perspective, we get a trained perspective, you know. So I don't like you know, I try not to guess, you know. I try to operate my gift but he's trained. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little bit different. And then I bring you in, Robin, because Robin, y'all that don't know, she's a life coach. Not only that, but you know, Robin is just a boss at the same time. I mean, she's been in upper management. She does motivational speaking with John Maxwell. If you've seen John Maxwell, all the books and things that he writes, she literally works side by side with him. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a GG. I didn't say it. She's a GG. You know, and she, you know, and she's an entrepreneur. She's a brand strategist. She does a lot. And then but at the end of the day, she's a wife and she's a mother, you know, and we had a conversation the other day. She don't even know what she said that made me call her today, but I might tell her in the course of this conversation. But it was something that she said, and it was the way she communicated before a crisis came. And see, I think so many times we wait until, Dr. Evans, we wait until the crisis comes, and then we want to communicate. And then our communication is off kilter because we start yelling or we want to start acting out when we can say, hey, listen, I'm over here, bro. You don't miss your, you know, let's talk before things get out of hand. But anyway, I'm sorry. So this is why I asked you all on tonight. I have a particular follower that I've been watching, and I watch how she posts, and I look. She's had some trouble in relationships, and you can tell that she's upset. You can tell she's kind of angry, you know, and so we found ourselves in our inbox. And we've been talking. And y'all not saying nothing in the chat. I need y'all to say hi, cat, dog, boo, something. Don't let me know y'all there. But anyway, she and I had a good conversation the other morning, right? And we started talking, and she started sharing with me some particulars about the relationship and why she felt the way she felt. You know, and I don't ask a lot of questions. Because I don't need specifics. You know what I'm saying? I just need to connect. But anyway, so we started chatting and we're talking it up and whatnot. And then she said it was one particular thing. She said it was certain things she let go, but when it comes to her, you know, this specific issue, that's something, you know, she can't move past. And I said, wow, you got my mind working now. Because I'm a type of person, I don't go right at your mind. I want to make you think. I want to make you see it from a different perspective. And so when she said, Dr. Evans, she said, it's certain things that she said, I let go a lot of stuff, but when you mess with this one, I can't do it. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Do you think there's a difference between letting go and releasing something? And when I asked her that, what I liked about it, Robin, is normally, you know, when you're in a chatting conversation, you can see those little dots knowing that the person is automatically responding, right? But when I asked that question, no dots. No response. What that meant to me was, I said, "Oh, I like you." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because you're thinking. You're not just coming out with a quick response, right?" She said, "Oh no, I'm gonna use wisdom with this answer." And so then she went on a little bit farther, and like I said, we could. And so when I asked her, I said, "Is there a difference between between letting go and releasing?" This was her response. She said, "I believe letting go is accepting what it is with most of it, but not something else. Releasing is taking my hand off of it and allowing God to handle it. And my God," and I don't want to read the rest because it's kind of personal, whatever she said beyond that, right? But she said, "I believe letting go is accepting it for what it is with most of it, but not something else." She said, "Releasing it is taking my hand off of it and allowing God to handle it. And my God, I'm not quite there yet." In other words, she's saying, I'm not at the point where I'm just ready to let it go and let God. So that started my creative wheels to work. And so I started really trying to break down what I thought the difference between letting something go and releasing it. Based on what she said, I'm gonna put this back up, Robin. What are you hearing? She says, "I believe letting go is accepting what it is with most of it, but not something else. Releasing is taking my hand off of it and allowing God to handle it. And my God, I'm not there yet." What do you think, Robin? What are you hearing when you hear her say that?
I like her response. I really do. I like her response because when we think of letting go, immediately, of course, you know, we hear those of us that, you know, come from faith-filled backgrounds. We hear and we've heard the song, "Let Go, Let God," even though, you know, it's not scriptural, that's what we hear. And so, but I think letting go, I like the context and how she explained letting go. we are just taking our hands off of it. When we release something, I really believe we are releasing that, and we are giving that up to God. So I think let go. I can see how she said that, and when we think about it, when we let go, it's like, okay, I'm just letting it go. When we release it, then I think it's a letting go. I see it as more so, okay, I'm just dropping it. Releasing takes time. And I think that's where God comes in to help us to release and let go. We know there's something, so I think it's a gradual process. And, I'm sure you want to get Pastor Evans context here.
Believe me, we're gonna have some good conversations. Don't worry.
But I think, because when we think about releasing stuff, we think about it more so spiritually. What's a spiritual release? What have you released versus just letting something go? When I let it go, I'm like, okay, I've dropped it. But I think we can see that more so naturally versus the spiritual side of this, perhaps. So
got you. Go ahead, Doc.
In everything that I have read, I saw that there was a combination of those two things. Cannot let
hold on.
You cannot unless there's some releasing, and you cannot release something unless there's some degree of letting go. So I did not see, and I read from a variety of perspectives, but what I saw was that they were basically saying the same thing, just different wording. Taking your hands off of it doesn't mean that you take your emotions or your mental energy off of it. So you can say that you're letting go, but if it pretty much blocks you and keeps you where you are, then you have not let go.
And that's the point, Doc. We're our contention is, or my contention, should I say, is that letting go is stage one. Releasing it is when I graduate. Releasing it is a promotion. You understand what I'm saying? I can say I let go, it's easy to say I let this go. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, even semantics, I can say, man, we let a whole lot of stuff go that I should have handled. So there's some letting go. But then when I release it, when I shown up, say, hey, Lakeisha, how you doing? Y'all are being rude tonight. Y'all ain't speaking. Let me ask you a question. Those in the audience. Do you think there is a difference between releasing and letting go? Because I gave Dr. Evans, normally I don't tell him what the topic is up front. So I put him on the spot, and then we just kind of go Rhema, whatever we're gonna do that night. But today I gave him a little context up front. So he's probably went and done some research. So he's telling y'all some books and stuff he's read from, and he's trying to find some differences. So this should be a fun conversation. But what I'm gonna do, because I wrote a little blog to an extent where I wrote down about 5 differences between letting go and releasing. And I'm going to introduce those, and we're going to discuss them. But I'm those in the audience, like I said, if you would tell me what y'all think. Do you think there's a difference? We're gonna discuss it here on the stage, and I want you all to discuss it there. And I'm going to actually put the link in the chat in a minute. So if anybody else wants to come in, it is an open platform. Now, do me a favor. If you come in, don't come in and do no like 8 minutes soliloquy, no 7 minutes soliloquy. I'm cutting you off tonight. I ain't be lying. I can't do it. I can't take it no more. For real. Let's have a conversation. Again, conversations mean I talk, you talk, we talk. Let's ask questions. Not no 7-8 minutes you talk. Then I'm looking at you like, I can't do that. That messes with my mind. I'm a Cancer. I get insecure when I'm sitting there just at being quiet. I need to be in control. So my control is going to allow me to take you off the stage. Okay, Kathy Sugar said, yes, there is a difference. What do you think the difference is, Kathy? And those other few people. First of all, share this thread, please, if you don't mind. Share the thread. And then answer the question, if you will. Is there a difference between releasing and letting go? Robin has shared her thoughts based on what my inbox person has said. Dr. Evans has shared his thoughts so far. But now I'm going to share some thoughts that I had, like I said the other day when this conversation popped up on me. This is the first one. Let me put it up. So that was what she said. Now, first thing, letting go is about relinquishing control
Mm.
while releasing is about setting something free. Now, let me say that again. Letting go. Hold on, Dr. Evans. You going first, Dr. Evans, because I saw them eyes go to the right. So that means you went straight to thinking. But I read body language. He said, letting go. Listen, because a lot of us, the reason why we hang on or we stay connected to certain things is because it's a control factor. And the control factor means even when you're familiar with something, you're in control. So I heard Donald Parsons say this one time. He said, when you go with what you know, you always end up where you were, right? So if letting go is about relinquishing control while releasing is about setting something free. Think about that, Doc. What do you think?
I mean, from just wording, yes, I can understand that.
Okay.
But again, it is hard to achieve one without the other.
Oh, absolutely. You got to let go before you can. No. That's the thing. I don't want us just to get to the point where we let stuff go.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we just get to the point where we let stuff go, then sometimes we never heal from that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I had a trick in my house, Mama. I hope you didn't listen. But if I saw dust at a certain point, I could just sweep it under the rug, right? And if I swept it under the rug, it wasn't visible. But it didn't mean that it wasn't there. And at a certain point, if Mama picked up the rug, she would see it would expose. And my thing is, Robin, and you can pop in at any point, but when we only let things go without releasing them, it's almost equivalent to just sweeping something under the rug.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I'm wrong, tell me. I'm cool with that. I like pushback. Tell me.
So there's a quote that Mary Morrissey says, in order to be free, we must learn how to let go. Remember, I alluded earlier, James, that it's a process. That's how we release hurt. That's how we release fear. It's how we decide and we make a decision. And so I can totally understand where Pastor Evans went as well, because when we're releasing and letting go, we're refusing to entertain the old pain. We're refusing when we've got to the point. So I get your points also, James, about graduating. We've gotten to that point. It is all a process. I think, we think about letting go of something, but then release, you're freely doing it. Let it, if I let your hand, or I'm just releasing your hand, it's almost like a foretelling or telling the person, okay, I'm releasing this. But I think it's a process because we're refusing to go into our future the same. So we have to release some stuff. So I think it really plays to a mindset. I think it plays to freedom and the liberty that we really want in our lives. What are you willing to give up to go up?
Wow. What are you giving it? That's good. You want to jump in? You want to jump in right there, Dr.
Well, I agree with that. The releasing part, and I'm still talking about letting go, is releasing the lingering attachments and resentment that affect a psychological state. So the idea that you're going to let go of those things, but now it has to be a part of releasing, because you can release someone without necessarily forgiving them. I think forgiveness would be the ultimate form of releasing.
Okay.
And the ultimate form of letting go, when you do not hold on to the attachment and the resentment. So I still put these things together. You could say that it's a process that includes both steps, and I could see that and understand that. But now they're not totally separate, because somewhere they have to interject.
And I'm gonna hold to that. I do believe they do interject. Like I really do, and I don't dispute that at all. And ladies and gentlemen in the chat, I put the link on the Facebook page if anybody wants to jump in this conversation. And if you have something that you are struggling letting go, or you're trying to determine if you need to let it go or release it, you got Dr. Evans on here. Like I say, he's a therapist. You got a life coach on here, Robin. You got me, just James. And you feel free to come in. We'll love to talk you through or whatever. We're not a therapy show, don't get me wrong, but we are here to have, it's a safe space, like I said, and we can, and a lot of this is about relationships. And what I'm learning is that I have a few of my followers, ladies that have been in relationships where they've been hurt, where guys have mishandled them, cheated, whether took money, did some bad things. And it's hard to move on, and then we have other issues with people who have never been married, never saw marriages, you know what I'm saying? But then they're trying to figure out how to be a wife, you know what I'm saying? Or how to move forward and be in a relationship. How, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to become what you haven't been exposed to and what you haven't embraced, right? And so it's so many, and we pick up so many things by osmosis, just through life. You know what I'm saying? I got a dog here, and if my dog goes outside and it's a patch of fleas, and she goes through the fleas by osmosis are just gonna jump on her, right? And it's certain things in life hurt, bitterness, death, grief, these things shape us, and they shape us even in our relationships. And a lot of times we don't realize that there are hindrances that keep us from going forward. Most of us, Robert, you've been married 26 years. God bless you. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Evans and I, we were married a long time as well, so we've seen it. But these people now are stuck on start. They're not even getting to the starting blocks. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're arguing over semantics, and we're being crippled by colloquialism. Everybody, I told people it's one thing to look for a red flag, because if you look for it, you're gonna find it. I'd rather notice a red flag than look for a red flag. And there's a difference in noticing a red flag than looking. If you got your metaphorical flashlight out, I'm gonna find me a red flag. You're gonna find one. You're gonna find one. So that's what I'm trying to get us past, this hurt and these things, Doc. And you can speak to this, how hurt shapes our lenses.
It affects, it affects our emotions, our mentality, and we can't avoid it, we can't suppress it, but we have to confront it. You have a person who's dealing with something that they're too afraid to confront, or they're too hurt to confront. They will have a level of being stuck.
Wow.
Where you can't really move forward, even with you living your life completely and fully, until that issue is actually addressed. Releasing it, letting it go would have to take place in order for you to move forward in a healthy way. Because some believe that the letting go and the releasing is part of the process of personal growth.
Yes. Yes. And that should be. You want to jump in right there, Rob, before I say something?
Yes,
Okay.
Dr. Evans, powerful. So it really, your points on forgiveness, and then also what you just said about personal growth. And so, from a standpoint of coaching clients, it's exactly that. I said earlier, what are you willing to give up to go up? And I love your hashtag, James, on the path to better. I keep saying it's a process, because it truly is. We have to decide. And there's some decisions that we have to be cognizant that we make. Early on, James mentioned, you mentioned I was married or have been married 26 years. And my husband didn't get it. He's like, well, you just fall in love, this. And I said, no, I choose to love you. It's a choice. It's a process. And so, when we have some years under our belt, and, if it's in marriage, if it's in other relationships, we choose the parameters and how we compartmentalize those relationships. So even from a standpoint of being married as long as I've been, it's a choice that I've made. Okay. And it's like, we have to make those same choices to forgive. We have to make the same choices to release. We have to make the same choices to let go, because it gets us on our path to better. It really does. So there's some wise choices that we have to make. And when we can't get there on our own, I tell people this, Dr. Evins, hey, I'm going to help you with your future. I coach you to your future. If I find that there's some things that keep you in cement blocks in your path, that's when I'm going to contact a good therapist if you don't already have one, to partner so we collaborate to help you get on the path to better.
And
You keep saying that. Let me put my commercial on. Hold your thought, Dr. Evans. Let me put my commercial on since you keep on saying that. Y'all give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Listen, friends, I was stuck in a state of stagnation. I was depressed after a divorce. I was marinating in my misery, didn't want to do anything, didn't want to work, didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to stay where I was. But then all of a sudden I had an epiphany. And I realized that where I was not where I was supposed to be. So I made an adjustment. And you know what I did? I got on the path to better. You know why? Because I realized that better existed. And you know what I want to do? I want to invite you to join me on the path to better. Get your On the Path to Better t-shirt at www.theintellectualstew.com. Will you join me on the path to better? That was my little commercial, y'all. All right. So what are you going to say, Dr. Evans? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Man, I hold my thoughts very shortly. So let me. I was saying that I agree completely with what Robin said. Partnering with or having those services that you need to help you live as the best quality of life is still something that we have to remind people, especially Christians, that is still okay to do. Because some people will suffer in silence. Some people will isolate. Some people will avoid as much as they can or not confront. And it only impacts their lives in a negative way, where life goes on all around them. So partnering with a good therapist, with a life coach who can help you overcome some of those barriers is an excellent thing for the Christian to do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
So there's a scripture that's recorded that says a threefold cord is not easily broken. And we've even seen that movie come out. I think Bishop Jakes had something to do with that. Listen, you can steal this. This is for free, Dr. Evans and James. I tell all my clients, listen, there is a threefold cord that should not easily be broken. You need a coach, a couch, and you need Christ. And how I allude to the couch is the therapist. Go see a counselor. Go sit on the couch. Go talk to somebody. You need a coach for your future. You need a counselor to help you from your past to get to the future that you desire on the path to better. And we always need Christ at the core of everything. And so that's just my little nugget that I'll share there. But yes.
For free, you said. So you're not charging us for that one. Cool. Appreciate you. Right. So the first thing I said, the first one I did was letting go is about relinquishing control, while releasing is about setting something free. Here's the second one, Dr. Evans. It says letting go involves accepting and moving on, while releasing involves detaching and finding peace. And I think that's a difference. Letting go involves accepting and moving. What's up, Dawood? I'm sorry, bro. How you doing, man? Good night. How you doing this evening? Good evening. Y'all talk back to me. Do y'all agree with some of this? Do you think there is a difference between? Kathy said yes. Dawood said hi. Kathy says she agrees with the inbox person, who I'll never reveal who the inbox person is if she's listening. But letting go involves accepting and accepting and moving on, while releasing involves detaching and finding peace. Dr. Evans?
And again, that place of energy.
How many times you go? I got like 70, so you're gonna say it again every time.
Can I drop a biblical truth?
Drop your biblical truth.
Proverbs 11:14 says, where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So, and I just heard that tonight that I wanted to share because there's so much truth in that. We cannot live our lives in isolation without the assistance and the help of those that God has put in our vicinity.
Okay. I see that. I see it. Do you remember the relinquishing? It's about what? Accepting and moving on, while releasing is involves detaching and finding peace. I'm trying to see if Robin if she remembered, if she wanted to say. I ain't see her. I don't know if she's taking notes or not. I know sometimes people be taking notes and stuff. I know she's thorough.
So, thanks, James. That really, the ending of that, finding peace. So early on in my relationship with my husband, I just had this epiphany about peacemaking versus peacekeeping. And when we go back to that good old book again, Dr. Evans, the Bible says the blessed are the what? Peacemakers.
Peacemakers.
Right? It doesn't say peacekeepers. And so peacemaking requires us to engage in conflict, to bring it to a solid place. That's how we make peace. You think about making a cake, you're making something. Peacekeeping, on the other hand, is where we detach a little bit, and often we avoid conflict to do what we call maintaining peace. That's keeping peace. It's like marking time. My husband was in the military for 32 years. My father served as well. That we're just keeping peace. We're staying in line. We're keeping peace. But that peacemaking, it stretches us. It takes us from our comfort zone to our capacity zone, and it stretches us a little bit. It requires us to have the crucial conversations. It requires us to really understand. I often tell people, it may not be, because my background in HR for 30 years, a lot of people talk about, there's conflict resolution. No, everything is not always resolved. We just learn how to manage, and that's where conflict management really brings in a major focus for us. Are we managing it? Because we don't always resolve it. So how do you manage the conflict? And so that's why I love that piece as far as finding peace, James. And so, because when we find peace, it keeps us from being in pieces, P-I-E-C-E-S, when we find the peace. And so that.
Consumer Reports published a study showing 95% of supplements on the market are contaminated and contain magnesium stearate, which decreases absorption and increases a toxic material in the body, which has a lot of pesticides in it. Many companies are labeling it as a vegetable steroid. Central Silver has at least 3 dyes that are listed on the National Cancer List as a potential carcinogenic. Most of the minerals in it are in the form of oxides. Oxides oxidize the body. That means they rust the body out. At Immune Wellness Pharmacy, you will receive supplements that are dispensed in glass bottles. They're vegetable capsules with no additives, no dyes, no fillers, no preservatives, no magnesium stearate. To know your body is absorbing the nutrients it needs, shop Immune Wellness Pharmacy. That's pharmacy with an F. Go to immunewellnesspharmacy.com to shop now. Immune Wellness Pharmacy, restoring optimal function to the human body.
That.
Oh, where's my ink? Oh, I got to record it. I was about to say, where's my ink pen at? I need to record. I got to record it. So when we find peace, it keeps us from falling into pieces. I got you, and that makes sense.
Yes, when we
makes sense.
become peacemakers, it keeps us from the pieces, because things can be shattered, right?
Yeah.
And we want to put it back together, and peace looks like a beautiful mosaic when we put that back together. Because you think about glass being broken and it's in tiny pieces, right? So when you think about peace, that's when you're bringing it together holistically and in harmony.
And you know what? When Teddy Pendergrass was saying, "I think I better let it go," he couldn't have been in the best state of mind because he was blinded by love.
Yeah.
So he had to, in order to find the peace that was necessary, because he said, "I think I gotta let it go." And he was struggling at that particular moment. Man, I'm joking, but I'm being for real at the same time.
That's true.
Love is an emotion. And oftentimes those emotions blind us, right? And so when we let something go, man, I'm taking my hands off, I'm letting it go. But that peace comes later on, when I finally, because man, I talk about my divorce a lot. I let it go because I moved out, but I didn't find peace till years later. You know what I'm saying? And that was when I had to finally release it. Even Christ, at a certain point, it wasn't until he released his spirit. You said Eli lama sabatani. Once he released his spirit, then some things started happening. I don't know. I'm talking. I know Doc keep looking at me. He laughing at me because he like, this Samantha. You're saying the same thing over and over again. But whatever. No, I'm not. I'm not. All right. You got anything you want to say about? No, you already talked about this. Did you talk about this? No, you said yes, you did, because you said and again. That's right. I remember now. That's what you said. Let me go to the next one right quick. Next one says letting go means releasing emotional attachment, while releasing means allowing something to flow out of your life. I was digging the other day when I was trying to put these together. I promise you that these thoughts were. No, hold on. You go first, Doctor. No, read it because he's thinking. He's thinking.
Well, now I totally agree with releasing emotional attachment. And releasing is allowing something to flow out of your life, or to come to an end, or to move out of that perspective where you held it. So again, Doc, I agree with that.
You agree?
Yes.
Hold on, y'all. He said he agree. I agree. I got to do this real fast. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I got to do this. I hate to do it, but hold on. Wait. I had to bring a crowd in. What do you think? Come on, Robin. Let's give us some wisdom. Hold on. Yeah. Letting go means releasing emotional attachment, while releasing means allowing something to flow out of your life. To flow, and that's the key word to me. Because a lot, I notice sometimes on certain posts, because Doc, and you're a preacher's daughter, so you're a PK, so you understand this well. So exegesis, right? Exegesis, right? You kind of, when you're going through scripture, you start breaking out each word, and you find the important words in the text. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that kind of establish the main idea. I notice a lot of times people pick the wrong words. I'm through. That was a. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. That was just.
It's all good. Listen, I'm a preacher's daughter, preacher's wife, so I get it. But this is what comes to mind for me, James, when we
was in my head. I'm sorry.
Releasing means flow. Yeah. So one of my mentors, you mentioned that I'm a part of the Maxwell Leadership Community, and I love Dr. John C. Maxwell. Okay. And he often says we want to be rivers, not reservoirs. If you think about a reservoir is a place where something is kept and stored. And when we think about letting go and releasing, we don't want to be the reservoir and hold on to it. We want to be flowing. We want to create flow. You want things to, be released where they can be in perfect harmony and alignment. I said that before, but there's a flow. You think about watching the waves and the cadence of water, right? When you're, standing by the ocean side, but it's a beautiful thing when the water is flowing. And when we allow ourselves not to be reservoirs, holding on to the past, holding on to pain, holding on to what no longer serves purpose in our lives. We allow flow to come in. We can just let it flow. We can just let it flow. And so we want to be rivers and not reservoirs.
And because you said that it made me think about something, even in this process when we are allegedly letting things go. When we let it go, we're still in control of it. We let it go. But when we release it, because you're talking about how something rivers just flow naturally. And you get to a certain point when nature and life, I'm calling life nature, right? Where life does its part. And if life's like life's supposed to life, right? then at a certain point, as grandmama and them used to say, the things that used to bother me, they don't bother me no more. You know what I'm saying? I grow up. You know, when I was a child, I understood as a child. I behaved as a child. But when I grew up, I became a man, and I put away childish things. I can't even drink milk anymore because I'm lactose intolerant. I mean, I gotta have meat. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got time to be hanging around in kiddie pools. You know what I'm saying? So so I get it. And so if we're not, Robin, that's good. If we're not, because so many of us are reservoirs.
Mm-hmm.
We're holding on to bitterness. Mm-hmm. We're holding on to hurt. We're holding on to distrust. You know, one person did you wrong, and now everybody, and then we collaborate and don't even have the same story. Robin, I was telling a long time ago, I was telling some people about a lady I talked to, and her biggest issue, Dr. Evins, is I don't want to be cheated on. You better not. I don't think, just don't cheat on me. I'm just knowing somebody in her family got cheated on. I said, your mama got cheated on? No. Your grandmama get cheated on? No. Well, who did you see get cheated on? Nobody. Why are you fighting air? And to me, that is holding something in a reservoir that if you just flip a switch,
Mm-hmm.
it can be released. And now you open for everything else the universe is offering you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sorry for saying universe, Dr. Evans. He scratched his head on that. I apologize. You're open for everything God else. Everything God. Okay, go ahead, Doc, because you're about to say something. Go ahead. Oh my God.
When a person has anxiety, usually it's not over something that's real. You know, so that's the difference between a fear and an anxiety. And if a person has anxiety and there's nothing to justify that, then it's all in their mind. But now if I'm walking past your house and your German Shepherd is looking at me at the road and there's no chain, I will feel fear.
Yeah, that's it.
Not anxiety. Now, if I hear him bark and he's tied up in the backyard, that's anxiety.
Okay.
So when you find a person who can't pinpoint something that triggers a certain thought, then there has to be some anxiety there because there's no reality to it.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. And so, do you think fear? So, do you think it's fear or anxiety that allows us our reservoirs to stay full?
Both.
Okay.
Both, but because now both can cause stagnation.
Okay.
The inability to allow the flow.
Okay.
For one person, it is a real life experience. For the other person, it's the anxiety over the possibility. I don't want to get married because I don't want to face a divorce. So they never overcome that anxiety. Not the person who's divorced one time and say I have some fear over because I experienced it one time.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's real good. All right, let's move to the next one. Beyond the I messed up. Okay, that was wrong. I hit the wrong button. My bad. All right, so let's get to the next one. Letting go versus releasing. Letting go is about finding closure and healing, while releasing is about finding freedom and personal growth. Letting go is about finding closure and healing, while releasing is about finding freedom and personal growth. Do y'all agree with that in the chat? Do you think letting go is about finding closure and healing, while releasing is about finding freedom and personal growth? Let's start with you this time, Rob.
This was a little tricky, Dr. Evans. Let's see, James. Letting go. Finding.
I'm sorry. There it is. Letting go is about finding closure and healing. Wow, because that's what everybody's hollering. Think about it. Everybody in the mama right now. Well, I say everybody in the mama. Healing. I'm on a healing journey. I don't know if you ever get healed. I think we get healed enough, but and I tell them all the time, you don't know if how healed you are until you get in your next relationship, and you see if the trigger what you thought you were released from or what you had let go, find out if it triggers you or not, right? So most of us are on this. We want closure, we want healing. When I think we really should be seeking freedom and personal growth. You know what I mean? I could be healed and still be in the same place. I'm trying to move on. So that's me. That was my take on it. But what do y'all think? Hey, Sharon, how you doing? You came just in time. Cool. Yeah, we got about another 15, 20 minutes, and hopefully we'll be through with this conversation and hope we get some. Dr. Evans, if you want to say something while Robin's thinking, you can. Robin's taking note, reading something right now. I can tell.
Here's where I think they actually intersect.
Okay.
Because when it comes to closure, healing, freedom, and personal growth, that would be near the ending of the process. Steps. Yeah, because if I don't know, you had used an example that I wanted to go back to. Okay, if you say a person has a certain mindset because of a past traumatic relationship, if they would examine themselves and be honest with themselves, their thought pattern is still the same.
Okay.
Because if you have been the victim of infidelity and you're in a new relationship, if you think that the person is cheating automatically, you may never say it, but now that's where your mindset is. So if you were transparent with yourself, you would say, well, my thinking is just like it was in the last relationship. Okay. So now that's the residue that is still there. And right now you have no evidence, but now it's what you think because of what you have experienced.
Yes.
Now sooner or later it's going to come out in conversation. It's going to come out in actions. But I think before it ever is stated, before it is ever part of a conversation, it will be a thought before then.
Okay. Move it on, Robin, and stay there.
Stay there.
Okay.
So I wasn't going to go here because anybody else that's listening that may know me, they're like, I know Robin's going to talk about this. Well, pretty evident. So you see this big butterfly behind me, and I coach to having what's called a metamorphosis mindset. But because we think of the metamorphosis process, when we think about butterflies, it's a cyclical process. And I tell people, encourage them to apply that to their lives, because sometimes there are phases where we'll see ourselves as the caterpillar. Then we're in the cocooning process. And I really look at that as the spiritual process where we're being shaped and molded into ultimately the butterfly. But I took it a little bit further, James, because I use a 4-quadrant approach to that. And so it's self-reflection, self-awareness, self-image mastery, and then self-discovery. So I totally agree with Dr. Evans when he says this is where they intersect. And I think they do, but it is about the mindset. Where are you in your self-reflection process? Where are you in your self-awareness? I teach and facilitate a lot about emotional intelligence, right? And those quadrants there. Self-image. How do you see yourself now? Have you shed what was in the past and what your dad or your mom or someone in your youth as you age, they said about you? Because again, are you still being a reservoir and holding on to those things? So self-image mastery. And then who are you now? What does, you talked about healing and moving forward. I think it's a self-discovery process. We have to be ever so mindful that we don't self-sabotage. And I think that is what happens so often when we get here and people say, well, I'm healing and I'm doing this. And that's why I teach the process about it being a metamorphosis mindset, and it's cyclical. And you have to stay in that vein because there's some areas, James, that we've graduated in an essence, and we're saying, okay, well, I'm the butterfly, I'm good there. But then there are some areas of our life that, I'm still a caterpillar there, or I'm in that cocooning process. So I think it's really a journey when we talk about healing. We'd be here all night if I began to talk about and peel back the onion of what I have gone through. So having a coach, doing therapy, yes, been there too, Dr. Evans, right? Because we all are on a healing journey. We have to erase the stigma, that we're not worth it. We are worth it. You're worth it to have the coach. You're worth it to have the insight of a therapist speaking into your life to help you get through. So I think that is where the letting go and the releases, Dr. Evans said, they intersect. Because that's the intersection, and that's where the rubber really begins to meet the road. Because are you really ready to change your mindset?
Yeah.
And that's when you have to again make the choice to be on the path to better.
Gotcha. And at the end of the day, look at and Dr. Evans, I appreciate you for noticing that. That if we put that in succinct order, closure, then I heal, then I find freedom, and now I've grown. I'm the best version of myself now, right? Because I've gone through this process. Because first of all, I had to let something go. So I guess in a sense, I don't have to say letting go versus releasing. I could say letting go and releasing and change the whole context, But you know what y'all too busy doing? Looking for these red flags. And I'm telling you right now, if you look for a red flag, you are going to find a red flag. Somebody's going to do something that you don't like. It's going to remind you of something in the past and all those kind of things. And when you do that, it's equivalent to picking a scab. It's
going to act as a trigger.
Yeah, it's a trigger.
And even when I think about my own life and moving forward, here's something that I've said to myself. I don't want to self-sabotage a new relationship because of what I've experienced. And therefore, I don't necessarily have to look at the person. I have to look at myself.
So good.
Yeah. And that's where I am, Doc. And that's why I've it's been almost 5 years, whatever it is, 4 or 5 years. And the reason, and I want to, number one, I want to be the best version of myself. My book is being edited now, and in the book, I had to go back and face some harsh realities. I had to sit on that couch and pull up that metaphorical mirror and look at some stuff that were some hard truths, some stuff that, and honestly, why would I take that and put that in somebody else's life? You know what I'm saying? God might bring somebody along to kind of help pull me through that thing, but that's a God thing at that particular moment. But me, why would I want to present? Because, and number two, not presenting the best version of myself doesn't get me the best option that's available. I'm almost settling it or something at that particular point. You know what I'm saying? So I got to consider that as well. Let me do one more, y'all, because I want to get y'all out of here. I know y'all got to go live real lives and all that kind of stuff. But Dr. Evans, he's an hour behind us, so he might be okay. I might be in town this week. I'll let you know, Doc. But hold
Please.
on. I will. All right, letting go versus release. Letting go requires understanding and forgiveness, while releasing requires surrendering and just trusting the process. Ooh. And that they said, "Ooh," and that's it. Go ahead, Evans. Go ahead. That's the last one, I think.
I did not know that we were going to get to this, but I came across it in reading, and it's a quote by Maya Angelou, and it says, "At 15, life had taught me undeniably that surrender, in its place, was an honorable resistance, especially was as honorable as resistance, especially if one had no choice." So when we look at the whole concept of surrender, it is a beautiful thing.
Wow.
And it's beautiful because you have stopped trying all that you could. And for most of us as Christian, we now just turn it over to the Lord. Saying that, look, I've done what I could. I may have made it worse. I may have not done all that you told me to do, but now I've come to that place where I'm turning it over to you, so that not that we don't have to face it or confront it, but now that God can guide me.
Yeah.
So surrender is a beautiful thing. I mean, surrender is just as powerful as forgiveness.
Wow.
And it's something that we don't experience enough. We don't do enough. We don't give enough. And I had no idea that word was going to come up, but I came across it today.
I appreciate you, man, because when I reached out to you today, I just texted you, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm available tonight." And you said, "What are we talking about?" And you said, and I told you, "Okay, cool." And that was it. And I knew at that point you were going to prepare yourself. And I text Robin the same way, and Robin was like, "James, you know I'll do it for you." I said, "Thank you." And so that's why she's here tonight too. And as y'all can see, listen, and Robin, I'm gonna let you expound on this slide as well. But I want to say something right quick. This is the intellectual stew. Stew consists of several ingredients. You don't just have one type of stew. You know, you got beef stew, chicken stew. You know, you can be a vegetable stew. You know, so everything's not going to be the same. I like us to be well-rounded. If you trust me and you listen, I just hope at the end of the conversation that you'll leave enlightened and that you'll pick up something. And if you've listened with any type of intention to this conversation tonight, there's something I know that's portable, something that's practical, that you can apply to your life that can help you. I mean, because some stuff, what Robin just said a minute ago about us being a reservoir and holding on to something and don't realize, and you don't realize, my friends, how much stuff accumulates over the years. I'm 51 years old now. You know how much stuff I've forgotten? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've forgotten stuff. I can think back to my childhood riding that little red bicycle. You know, that was a long time ago. You know, I'm sorry, that's a whole, I didn't get on a tangent. Robin.
Letting go requires understanding and forgiveness, while releasing requires surrendering and trusting the process. I love that. And I totally agree with it. Yes, James, there's different types of stew. You know, I'm a New Orleans girl, and I just made some gumbo for Thanksgiving. So yes, there are different components of that and ingredients that go into it. Two things came to my mind as you were speaking, Dr. Evans, and one is the phrase that actually I'll start here when we say trusting the process, because you heard me say that already. I was in a class some years ago, and I'm going to say God just gave me this revelation on trust because I never looked at the word like this. So if you take the time just to write that 5-letter word down, TRUST, at the core of trust is us. Look at it. US is there. Okay. And so we think about at the core of trust is us. And so, yes, we trust ourselves, but there's a partnership and there's something we have to trust the process and allow others to lean into that process with us. So, at the core of trust is us. It doesn't matter if that's your coach, it doesn't matter if that's your therapist, if it's your pastor, if it's your good girlfriend, or your guys, you know, your buddy, your accountability partner. At the core of trust is us. And so we have to start there when we think about trusting the process. Secondly, something else I coined um, is this. I do a lot of work. You heard me mention already reflection because I think it's so powerful. When we reflect, and we're taught to meditate, scripturally, both day and night. But I coined this phrase. It's inward reflection, outward reward. Inward reflection, outward reward. So that's the process. When we take the time to reflect inwardly, then we're able to release, we're able to forgive, we're able to move forward. People say, oh, well, I forgive, but I didn't forget. Did you really forgive? And you may never forget the situation, but as you trust the process, then it gets easier. Okay. That outward reward, you're letting go. I've been told, and I don't know if you agree with this, Dr. Evans, or not, that forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other individual, because that's how we become better and that's how we release. So, inward reflection, outward reward. So when you're able to reflect inwardly, you're able to release, you're able to forgive, then you get, I love it, James, on the path to better.
Yes, I agree.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah, I'm pleased. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, that's right at 10:01. So that's 1 hour and 1 minute. If Doc would have been on time, we'd have got out on time. So he didn't. We so we held y'all in church for a minute longer than we were supposed to. So y'all got to give an offering on y'all way out if y'all want to. I'm joking. But but real talk, Dr. Evins, man, as always, I appreciate you. We pivot. We've been doing different shows. We've been doing Show Us How to. That's what Robin. I've been doing a show called Show Us How to Date You.
Okay.
I have different women come on and they answer questions about dating and different things of that nature. And then last week we stepped out and answered a couple of questions about relationships. And then tonight I wanted to do something different because of that conversation that I had with the young lady in the inbox. And we were talking about letting go versus releasing, because I want us to get to a place where we're ready for relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have something that's in our reservoir that we haven't released,
Yes,
that can potentially be the weight that is holding us back, holding us down, and keeping us from moving forward. So I pray, my prayer is that now that we count not ourselves to have apprehended, but this one thing we do, we're forgetting those things which are behind us and reaching forth into the things which are before us, pressing towards the prize. But it's going to take going through a process.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. And we just said that a moment ago. We have to trust the process. And if we're really releasing something, we will. We'll trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be good. Robin, tell them who you are and how to meet you, how to find you on social media.
Well, I'm Robin K. Butler. Just excited to be here as your friend, James. And so you can find me as Robin K. Butler across all social media platforms. James already mentioned, I do a little bit of life coaching. My background, I mentioned earlier, I've been in HR for about 30 years. So I do life coaching, I do some HR consulting, and I find my passion and my fuel with brand strategy. So I do a lot of work with personal and professional branding as well. So thanks again, James, for having me.
I appreciate you. So y'all tell Robin good night, and we'll catch you next time. You'll be back. Don't worry. You'll be back. We'll get you some more. You're going to tell us how to be better. Tell everybody good night.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Dr. Evins, man, I appreciate it. Now, I ain't told you good night yet. We're going to do our little goodbye separate, man. So I appreciate you. Dr. Evins is there in Columbus, Mississippi. So if you're in that area, that region of the country, stop by Southside Baptist Church. He is a good dude, man. Good dude. We met on a whim. Yeah. My son was at a baseball camp, and he was going to be there 10 hours. And I didn't want to stay at the place, so I found a church to go to, and that was it. And we've been friends ever since. He let me pray altar call, and since then I preached a couple of times. I hadn't got invited back no more since then. I guess I messed up last time, but I'll get it right one of these days. Hopefully, we'll give you another chance. But Dr. Evins, man, appreciate you for coming in, man. Tell us something good before you leave.
Well, God is good, and I do believe that God has given us different avenues, different ways of reaching and helping. And James, I just want you to know that this is one way of getting the word out that will strengthen and that will help people. So I appreciate what you're doing. And in it.
He went out. You still talking?
Yeah. Hello?
You start breaking up. Go ahead. Say it again.
Oh, just anytime you need me, ma'am, I am a phone call away.
Yeah. And you know what I like about you? You're not even a phone call. You're a text. You'll respond to a text. So that makes it even easier. That's good. Yeah. But no, Doc. I mean, no, I appreciate that for real. Like I said, you've proven yourself to be a friend, and we don't have to see each other in body and be physical in order to be friends, because this friendship has been fortified through Facebook and through phone calls. So I'm appreciative. So Doc, you have a good night, man. We'll talk another time. All right.
Always.
All right. Yep. All right. So thank you everybody for tuning in tonight to the Intellectual Stew. We talked about releasing versus letting go versus releasing. And I think we came to a consensus that it's letting go and releasing, not just letting go versus. Because sometimes, capitalism teaches us that something has to be greater, something has to be better. And It's all a process. In order to release, you got to let it go. And before you can release it, you got to let it go. And if it's hanging on like in your reservoir, let it go. Release it. Let that weight off. And I promise you, once you let that weight off, you will be happier. You'll be free, as we talked about earlier. You will have gone through the process, and that's what it takes. So I'm going to tell you like this, as I always tell you, the world is changing. My question for you is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night.
The world is changing. Why do you remain the same? Hey, let's change the world. Hey, let's change the world together. Get your The World is Changing tea at www.theintellectualstew.com.